Hey, thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you. Now, here at the channel, we enjoy hanging out. Either I'm sharing useful information with you, telling stories about my adventures, sharing a laugh with you, sharing a chill vibe. So, a while back, I made a little video that was just a laugh, just a bit of fun, and I mentioned just a throwaway gag about a swinger couple in their 60s named Leslie and Rob who tried to take me home from a bar one night. And I think people thought that was just a throwaway, a gag that I made up, but it's actually true. It's pretty funny. So I'll share a little bit more about that, and I'll share some laughs from some of my adventures here. So if I'm not working, and I spend the vast majority of my time working, if I'm not working, then I am adventuring around, and I'm exploring highways and roads and mountains, and hanging out at little towns, meeting people, making friends. And in my early to mid-20s, I ended up at a bar in Oakdale, California called the Whiskey River, and it's not called that anymore. It's some sports bar now. And I was there with Thomas and Alex, who are my childhood friends, and Brock, who is my brother, but not by relation or by blood, but by choice. Sometimes, you know, you just really connect with someone and they become your family, not because you're related, but because you're family. We're just spending time, and I accidentally got sucked into a pool tournament with these guys that were very serious about pool. They were very good pool players, and they didn't have enough. Some people didn't show up, and they said, hey, we don't have enough people for this tournament. Do you want to join in? And I said, I don't know how to play pool. And they said, oh, come on, just join. We need the numbers. And so I said, yeah, I guess. I mean, I've never played pool before. I don't know how to play. I played early on, and I don't know what happened. I just got very lucky, and I just slopped a number of shots in that looked really cool. They banked, they doubled off one ball into another. It looked so cool, and I had no idea what I was doing. So statistically, it came down to luck. And I was playing the guy who was running the tournament, and he just looked at me and he nodded and he said, oh, okay, I get it. You were sharking me. And I got a little bit worried then. I said, no, man, I'm serious. I don't actually know how to play. And he was saying, okay, sure, you know. And of course, there's money on the line when you're playing the comp. And when you shark someone, you pretend to not know what you're doing. And generally, that can net you an advantage if the other person feels sorry for you, or if they don't anticipate your skill level and they play less seriously. So he thought, okay, this guy's messing with me. But I eventually, over the night, hanging out with these guys, and I did eventually convince them that I actually didn't know how to play pool. I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up becoming friends with them. So when I go back to the States, Gary, I catch up with Gary. As the night wore on, this couple that I would say they were in their early 60s, they sauntered into the bar. This must have been about 10:30 or so, and the bar's open till 2, I think. And so I'm hanging out there with my friends. We're having a great time, cutting loose, you know. And this older lady is all over me. And everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. We're all arms around each other and taking photos. You know, we had old iPhones back then. And I distinctly remember that, just taking photos. This older lady kept coming up to me and putting her arm around me, saying, oh, take a picture with me, taking a picture with me. And I thought, yeah, she's had a couple drinks, you know, we're just having fun, we're hanging out at the bar. But then I see this steely-eyed older man sitting at the far end of the bar, these stark blue eyes, gray hair, mustache, and he's just glaring at me, like this. Just glaring. And eventually, at some point in the night, the lady introduces herself. I'm Leslie. We're chatting. And she introduces me. She says, oh, this is my husband, Rob. Come meet Rob. And Leslie, arm around me, drags me over to Rob. I shake his hand. He goes, hi. And I think, oh, man, this guy's kind of steely. And somehow the conversation just kept turning towards, oh, do you want to come over? We've got a house over in Stockton. You can come over and hang out with us. And she said, oh, you can stay with me. You can stay with us. And it was a little bit, it was starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward, because she's all over me. And she's chatting, and I'm being respectful, and I'm just, you know, being polite, and, oh yeah, we're having a fun time here at the bar, and I'm not, you know, responding to any advances or anything. So, oh, come on. And the whole time, Rob is just staring at me. Rob's glaring at me, looking at me up and down. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? What's happening? And to prove that Leslie and Rob are real, and I didn't just make this up, I have my wallet here. This is from my early 20s. I switch over wallets every few years. As they get worn out, I just leave this stuff in there. And this wallet, if I open this, now I want to be really careful here because I don't want to show the actual phone number, but I have old stuff in here, but I'm pretty sure there's a piece of paper in here. Usually when I exchange numbers and contact information with people in bars, we end up becoming friends, we keep in touch, I catch up with them, we'll grab a drink. So I'll take this piece of paper, and I think this is it, and I don't want to reveal the actual number here. Here we go. This is a receipt from the bar, so she must have asked the bar to print that out, but I'm just gonna put my fingers over the address and the email address there, but it's got her address, her name, an email address on there, so I'm gonna for privacy. So I'm covering over that. But that is Leslie over in Stockton. I've got the email address here, and I never did send an email because I was just a little bit. Oh, this is not from the bar. I'm looking at the receipt here. This says Rayleigh's. Okay, so that's a grocery store from in town, and it looks like she purchased a soda with this receipt. So that was Leslie and Rob, and I can't remember exactly what happened as the night wore on, but I know that we all got shuffled out of the bar at 2, and we had a great time hanging out, but I did not go to Stockton with Leslie and Rob. I was just a little bit weirded out that Rob was glaring at me, but he was there, right there next to Leslie when she was trying to drag me home. She was trying to drag me out of the bar, and I just wanted to be respectful and polite. These are strangers, and you just want to make sure that you don't offend anyone, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and we're all just there to have fun and socialize, but sometimes you need to know when to draw the line, and so that was a point where I said, I think maybe that's maybe a friendship that probably I'm not going to pursue. So this is funny because for some reason situations like this often happen to me when I'm out adventuring. So I'll just show a photo. This is in Dorrington in California, Highway 4. It's past Big Trees, it's past Murphy's. It is near some beautiful hiking locations. So if you have a chance to road trip along Highway 4, I absolutely recommend it. So I'll show some photos. There's this beautiful little restaurant. It's I think it's closed Mondays and Tuesdays, something to that effect, and it is open for breakfast and lunch, something. So I saunter up to this place last year, and I'm walking up to this beautiful old building, and I'm looking for a bite to eat, and I'm checking out the restaurants. So I know it's important to map out, especially on these highways. You need to know which restaurants are open on which days. So I get to the entrance of this building, and an older couple is walking out. I would say they were in their early 70s. And that's the wife looks at me as I'm walking up the stairs, and she's just, grinning from ear to ear, and she goes, "Hey, are you a cowboy?" And I said, "No." She goes, well, what do you do? And I was wearing a bandana and just a shirt. I was probably wearing my vest as well. And I said, I sometimes do ranch hand work around the place. And she was like, "Oh, you're cute. You got the look, man." And she's sort of making eyes at me, and she's sort of giggling. And her husband's right there, this, stern-faced, gray beard, and just peering at me. And he's pretty angry. And his wife, just, making googly eyes. And I politely nod, and I said, "Oh, thank you. Have a good day." And I walk past, and she's watching me as I walk past, and I could feel the heat from her husband's stare on my back as I tried to walk away from that situation. So I don't know why that situation keeps happening to me, but just, I don't know, from time to time, I don't know. Sometimes an older lady will just send out some vibes in my direction when their husbands are standing right there. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's story time. If you guys enjoyed that and had a laugh, let me know. Rob and Leslie are real. I've never sent an email, but they're real. So I think it's funnier if I tell you the truth. If I'm sharing stories here, they are absolutely true, and I think that is what makes them more fun. It makes them more interesting. If you want to hear more stories, let me know, because I'm always adventuring. I've got a ton of stories. I have a tough time communicating on a meme level. I'm not well versed in internet meme culture because I don't use social media, and I don't really use the internet that much outside of watching YouTube. So I spend my time in places like this where we can play pool and hang out with people and make friends, and I guess get hit on by elderly couples. I hope you had fun. Take care, everyone. I'll see you around.